Code S championship, has not had to prepare for any Code A matches. He's all about Pro League right now before Code S even starts. He doesn't even have any groups set up for Code S, so there's actually just nothing to worry about. Whereas Sora here, look at his arrow. I think that's the first down arrow all the way that we've ever seen. He was just considered to be this new up-and-coming player who was so good. You know, everybody's talking about him, and then he just did not ever live up to the hype. And he's up against a GSL champion who's 9-7, 3-3. This guy all killed SKT in the round 1 playoffs.
Yep, the guy who used to be named Covered in Blood in Korean. A guy who definitely looks very fierce just in his appearance. And a guy who's taken out very, very strong opponents in the past. And, you know, Sora, to be honest, isn't really one of those very, very big opponents, but could he take a game off of this big monster?
Well, only time will tell, man. The map poem says, life is like a maze. Life, I'm just amazed when I'm flipping through the pages. Let's find out who's going to take this Protoss versus Protoss on our very unusual map, Maze, here at the SPL 2014.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top right in the yellow for CJ Entis, it is Sora.
And to the bottom left, cross spawns in red, it's Zest. Anything could happen here, Brendan. Could see double Nexus first, Blink Stalker, Timings, Proxy, Stargates, DTs, Warp Prism, 4-gate. Anything is possible. I'm actually a little bit surprised we haven't seen a Warp Prism 4-gate on this map yet, because it's just so inviting against so many fast expand builds to just try that. On a smaller map, and you can see this scout this early, it's pretty easy to defend, especially the Mothership Core, but with you know, more Nexus first builds coming up, it's a good response, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen PvPs before where the probe, it goes the wrong direction, where they're, you know, maybe they're top left, top right, and he goes like all the way in a circle, and there's already a stalker out for your enemy opponent, and it's just like, well, I have no idea what my opponent is doing. You could definitely abuse that kind of lack of scouting in many situations on this map, I feel.
Yeah, you can see Sora is 1-4, by the way, in his most recent matches, whereas Zest is solid 3-2.
Yeah, Sora definitely started off very strong in round 1. I think he was at about 2-1, and then he just kind of fell off, which is very unfortunate for him, but this is his big match.
Well, we're going to have a Nexus first for Zest. He's going to do it. And, you know, Sora on the other side of things is playing a more tech-oriented build with only 1 gas, though. So probably going to be a fast expand from him as well. No, he takes the second one, albeit a bit late. Yeah, and he already is going to send that probe out to scout. There's that Nexus first. Checking over here just to make sure he's not being cannoned or anything. And I guess he would probably send that probe to scout. He needs to find some sort of information about what his opponent is doing and where he's spawned.
Yep. I mean, if you go Nexus first, you got to make sure whatever's coming your way is not super aggressive, or at least if it is, you got to prepare for that, because that is one of the risks when you go for a very greedy economic opening. You don't have much army to defend against these kinds of early pushes, and Zest has to be prepared for that if something like that comes along later on.
Well, Cybercore coming up here. When that finishes, we're going to get a good idea about what the next step is for Sora. Is he going to go Stargate? Will it be Blink Stalkers, or is he just going to, you know, take a Sentry and a Mothership Core and expand slowly and be behind because he doesn't know what his opponent's doing yet? He's going to get a good look at that Nexus in just a second. His probe's coming around. They both scouted wrong, funny as it is. They're both ended up at each other's base around the same time. Core is being started here now, and he sees it. Stargate is the choice. Right as he sees the Nexus, he goes for that. So probably going to be an Oracle-oriented opening, maybe into Phoenix. Excuse me, into Phoenix's to continue harassment, to get ahead in probe count and to just control the map because he's so far away. You know, you get the Phoenixes out, then your opponent can't really punish you if you're constantly keeping him in his base.
Yep, and that probe taking so long to get that scout out for Zest going all the way across this map is not going to see exactly what Sora is doing. So Zest is not going to know what's coming his way, which is definitely very scary when you go Nexus first.
Yeah. Really hurts. Mothership Core comes out right away. Needs to chrono boost that just to make sure you can build that energy as fast as possible so you can have the overcharges. It's already going to work on these rock towers so that he can have his natural walled off, making it a lot harder to actually attack. And Phoenix first is actually going to be the choice here for Sora, so he's going to try to control things. Oh, did he cancel and go Oracle? Yep. I think so.
Cancels it, goes for an Oracle. Sending his Stalker all the way across the map here to try to get some harass down, but having that extra Stalker in the Mothership Core here should be pushed away. That Mothership Core is going to take a little bit of extra damage, but not too much. And the second Stalker comes across the map for Sora. Going to pressure even more.
Even the Zealot on the high ground can hit these rocks up here, by the way. I think that's really important to note because if you look at the map, it doesn't originally look like that, but they are in melee range, so you can attack this with Zealots at the high ground, which means Zerglies can also use this at their defense. Usually a Zerg player won't want to lock himself on 2 bases ever, but, you know, it's something that they can do. So Nexus goes down here, back at home for Sora, who's working slowly on these debris over here. I wonder about what Sora is thinking here. Like, what sort of build is he going to go into after this? Because it's already a bit of indecision. Going into a Phoenix, chrono boosting it most of the way out, then canceling it, then getting an Oracle. That's definitely some indecisiveness. And
yeah, it's showing a bit of weakness here. He's going to come in with the Oracle. How much damage is he going to done? Tries to get the Sentry, does get the Sentry. That's a nice pick off there. A lot of gas in that guy, 100. And picks off an extra probe as well. So some damage already done with his Oracle.
Yeah, 1 probe, 1 sentry. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now it looks like he's going to try to set up a maze here with these rocks. I mean, no pun intended. I mean, that's why this map is called that. And he's... If he takes a 3rd base with this, goes into like a fleet beacon and starts Tempest while he like has all the rocks on the whole map sealed so that anytime Zest wants to move out, it's going to take him a long time. And that would be pretty cool. That was like a funny move there. He just wanted to try to chase the Oracle away with the overcharge. Not necessary, but pretty annoying there.
Yep. 2 of these Phoenixes being made right here. 3rd one was made and is coming across the map right now, but after that, no more Phoenixes. And he does have the minerals and gas to do it, so it looks like he might just stop after 3. Maybe just control the map, maybe use later on to pick off Immortals, as long as he doesn't lose anything. I mean, he is going to pick off a nice Sentry here. Doesn't want to lose his Phoenix, though.
Great control there by Sora.
Yep.
That was pretty crazy. If he lost that Phoenix, I would have been like, that was a pretty poor choice, but you know what? If he doesn't lose it, I can't say anything. Obviously, it works out in that case. There's a double Stargate back at home. And he has 4 gases. I think he's just going to mass Void Rays here. I think that's the plan. And you know what? I'm all about plans like this.
You're all about those Void Rays, man. You just love when these Void Rays come out. So much respect has to come out onto the field when you go triple Stargate Void Ray.
It's so all-in, though, off of just 2 bases to do this.
Yeah, definitely.
He's placing pylons all over the map, so he's going to be able to see any move-outs that happen, and he's also got vision of all of the rocks.
The thing I love about the fact that he's doing this is just that we're going to see exactly how this is going to work. If it's actually going to be good, or if it's just going to fail miserably. Because we've talked about on this map, it's a huge map. You can definitely abuse the air units because you don't have to worry about the rocks if they fly. And we're going to see it in PvP here. I'm really excited to see how this one turns out.
Right now, there are 3 observers on the map for Zest. He already sees what's coming. And how he chooses to respond will be interesting. He's actually going to try to kill this observer, I think, which is really annoying.
Yeah,
is it,
our observer's catching up to that. Yeah, does get that observer.
Because if he has all these pylons on the map and he's got the Phoenixes, it's really hard to get anything across the map to scout. I think he's going to try to do a timing attack here with Charged Zealots and Archons, because Archons are the best way to deal with Void Rays. They do a lot of damage to air units. They do a lot of damage in general. He goes Charge, cancels, and then goes Blink. So it could be Blink Stalker Archon. If he tries to go Psy Storm, it sounds funny, but it works okay against the way the Void Rays stack up and fight. This is just a weird situation we don't see very often. The last time I can think of that we saw something like this, it was like Parting versus Creator, where I can't remember which one of them, but one of them went a ton of Warriors. The other player just like was like, well, just make a few Archons and I'll just keep my composition mostly the same, and I'll make a lot of Stalkers, so I'll be fine. No, you won't be fine. If you go a lot of Stalkers, you're actually just not even going to be close to fine against this many Void Rays.
I think that match was actually Sora versus Squirtle.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Squirtle, man.
And Squirtle was the guy who did it. And now Sora's like, I'm going to get my revenge. Void Rays.
There are on the map right now 7 Void Rays, soon to be 10.
And he's got 3 Phoenixes in that mix as well as an Oracle. You got to remember those because you can pick up a bunch of these key units that Zest is going to be making. Unfortunately, not for him. Not the Archons, of course, because they are massive. But, a couple of these Immortals, some of these Stalkers, just to help out.
The Void Rays and the Phoenixes have +1. And they are going to come over here and try to snipe this Nexus and then recall away if necessary. He sees the army with his Phoenixes, knows they're out of position. By the way, he has this Oracle here just to make sure no Observer is following. And this Nexus, yeah, right. Goodbye.
Oh, that's so dead.
Prismatic Beams aligning, Brendan. Cancel that. And he's going to fly away. Tags the army. He knows exactly where it is. More and more Void Rays coming out. So Psystorm is done. He has Blink done. He's making a bunch of extra pylons.
Yeah, the thing you have to remember about this kind of build...
He just tries to remake it. Yeah, right, Zest.
Yeah, I mean, exactly in that. Because Sora has his 3rd base up. And it's not going to be killed anytime soon. Think about how big this map is and how long it takes to get across the map when there's a ton of rocks in your way. And you're just going to have a very safe 3rd base if you continue to kill Zest over and over and over with Void Rays.
Fleet Beacon's on the way. And the thing is, there's a lot of ways compositionally to counter Void Rays, but 2-base High Templar Blink Stalker I don't think is the way. Obviously he's going into a 3rd base, but he has some Archons here. I think they're going to be key. If you go mass Phoenix, you can beat Void Rays, but you can't afford that when you've already committed so much tech to other things, when you're on 2-base on 4 gases only. In fact, I'm going to check. Yeah, he's long distance mining gas on 3rd. I think this is a great choice. He loses the Oracle here, not too important.
Carriers are on the production tab, 3 at a time. No 3rd base once again. That's just not going to happen.
He has the pylons. You see this. When he goes to kill the rocks, the pylon sees it, and then he goes and snipes the base every time.
Yeah, and look at this. War Prism is going to try to bring some of these back, I think. But look at this. Having 2 Phoenixes here, that guy is not going to get into the main base.
Nope. Well, I mean, he's going to get in here, but, like, so what?
He even gets lifted, like, as if that's even necessary. Sora's just showing his dominance so far.
There's that boss from the Heart of the Swarm campaign that reminds me of Diablo 3. I'm like, it's Zagara, right? No, that's the Zerg Queen that's going to be in Heroes of the Storm soon. 2 more Stargates coming up, Robotics coming up, 3 carriers of Graviton Catapult +2. I hate to say it, esports fans, but this game may already be over. But what we will test is in the case of, can Zest max out? He keeps feedbacking these Phoenixes. Really like to see that. But we're gonna test, can this composition be beaten? If you know if you can take a look at it and say, okay, you know exactly what you're building, and if he has the time to max out, can he build an army that's 2 things, strong enough to beat the other army and not the same as the other army? So can this mass Void Ray with some carrier support army, can it be beaten by an army of Archon, Storm, some Blink Stalkers, Charge Zealots on the ground? We're gonna find out.
Yep, we are. The one thing I'm very curious about when I look at Zest's composition is how many Zealots he has in there. I mean, they're going to be good for harass, because there's nothing on the ground right now for Sora. He's got 3 carriers, 13 Void Rays, and 2 Phoenixes. There's literally nothing on the ground besides probes. So all it's going to do is kill buildings and kill probes if it gets close enough. And he's got a lot of them in there, and he has charge.
I think the Zealots will tank a little bit of damage, too. The Void Rays are going to start firing at them first, which is going to give the rest of the units some time to close the distance.
Yeah, it'll also help with the interceptors here from the carriers. Maybe take a bunch of shots from that. One
thing comes to mind when you look at this army that's flying around. It's very expensive, and it's very concentrated and stacked on one location. Psystorm on this, one Psystorm can almost hit every single unit. 2 Psystorms can hit every unit. Now he fans out a little bit, but when he fights, he is going to need to fan his units out very, very well. Double Stargate is on the way, by the way, for for Zest, who's actually built a massive bank. Like, he's not even sure what type of units he wants to make yet.
Yeah, he looks incredibly confused right now. We have 5 Void Rays at a time here for Sora. He's taking a 4th base. Look at this. There's no army over here. It's going to go down instantly. He doesn't even charge. He doesn't even do the prismatic alignment. He's like, okay, well, I have enough Void Rays. No 4th base for you.
He could actually just win the game right now. He looks at this army. He's like, wait, you don't have, like, anything. He's going to snipe the Mothership Core. Zest might just, like, type out. He's starting to completely... What is going through his mind right now? He's not making anything. It's almost as if he's already conceded the point.
Well, he makes 8 Stalkers as he sees this gigantic army coming to his base. He's like, well, I need something, but...
These Warp Gates are being killed before they can morph. High Templar being sniped here. Good fight this.
Yep.
Prismatic alignment, goodbye. Okay, there's the storms coming down. Several, and actually they do a lot of damage to the interceptors.
But, like, there's just still no army. He's going to send all those zealots in there to try to do some backdooring.
Look at this. Cannon's already set up. Sora has played this map way better than Zest. I think that's the bottom line here. He knows how to play it. And a few carriers do get sniped by the Stalkers. Even without the alignment, those Void Rays can do a lot. But you know what? He lost a lot of them there. He stayed around, I'd say, a bit too long.
Yeah, just a bit too long, but, you know, he has done a bunch of damage, and like you mentioned, all his cannons, Zest Zealots literally did nothing. I think they killed 1 cannon, and that was about it. And that's a lot of minerals. Our observer is pointing out, you know, you can just send your area units over there, especially the carriers, and just hit on that 3rd base, and there's not anything that Zest is going to be able to do unless he has area units of his own.
Yeah.
This is like the first thing we were talking about when we first looked at this map. We're like, this is going to be great for air, especially Protoss.
Yep.
You get Tempest on this map even. It seems like Sora didn't want to go for the Tempest, but like Tempest with the super long range could be even better.
Well, I don't know about engaging here and getting that Nexus. You can fight and poke a little bit, maybe, like StarCraft 1 high ground micro, like on Lost Temple, or I mean not Lost Temple, Python. Just get behind there. I don't know, like this is not an engagement I would want to take because he doesn't have to. Kills the Observer again. A bunch of gateways being added here by Zest again. I think he's hoping he's going to win the game through Psystorms that kill the entire army. Then he's going to like blink in and finish everything off, then do like some big, massive gateway follow-up afterwards. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a nice idea, but even with that, with how big this map is, if they fight near Zest's base, Sora has 7 Stargates up right now. He's going to have 7 at least after these 2 finish building. He's going to have 7 Void Rays at the time, and he has enough gateways back at home as well to get some gateway army on the ground if that does come to pass, but we'll just have to wait. Again, this 4th base is going to be canceled.
Is he just going to force the recall home? If he attacks and commits to this, by the way, without a Mothership Core, all he has to do is recall home and then kill everything. He's going to kill this Nexus. Could even have an elimination race. I'm fairly certain the Void Rays win that.
Yep, I'm very certain as well. It looks like Zest doesn't seem like he wants to go back to his base at all, but Sora thinking oppositely. He takes out that 1 Nexus and he's flying back across the map, so...
He can recall, and that's exactly what he does. He puts all of his units, stacks them together, and there they come back into the main base. And if he kills this army with all the infrastructure on the main base dead and no economy left for Zest, that's going to be all she wrote. All he killed here really was cannons.
Yep, once again.
High Templar being targeted down right now. The thing is, like, I mean, it feels like Zest has just, like, not known what to do. And the thing is, what do you do? Is there an answer to this if you have such long rush distances and somebody's given this much time to build Void Rays, and he's killed your 3rd base repeatedly with them because of the way this map is shaped? This is the kind of game I thought we were going to be seeing every single PvP on this map. Every single time it's, you know, Protoss versus Protoss, which I expected it to be most of the time. I thought we were going to be seeing this, like, just over and over and over and over again. This is the first time we see it, which means, in my opinion, I feel like Sora has been the first player to look at this map and actually prepare well on it, like a really good strategy that's for the map specifically, rather than just trying to play a standard game and be like, well, I mean, let's think about the rules here. The map is big, and I'm going to make a Nexus first, and I'm going to defend. He's like, prepared an actual strategy based on the map size.
Yeah, which is great to see because this is his first showing in a while where he has to, show his best game here, especially against Zest. And he's had a while to prepare for it, so you should expect something like this out of him. And he's shown a very nice game so far.
All right, well, a lot of these Void Rays are low. And even with 7 Stargates, it does take a long time to replace those. And there's a lot more Archons now in this mix. This is still something that Zest could potentially win. Not going to be easy, especially with now this many Tempests targeting down those High Templar. He goes for the Prismatic Overcharge here, but, I mean, he's not fighting that many armored units, actually. Targeting down Archons here, kiting. The Archons, aren't air units. They don't take that much damage from the Tempest, but eventually they're going to get picked away.
Yeah, one thing that Sora is actually doing as well is he's sniping a bunch of High Templar with his Tempest. He's not doing it now, but he was doing it before, and that's going to reduce the amount of storms so much later on. Looks like he's splitting up a bit here and actually pushing Zest way back.
Zest actually sends a huge group of Zealots into the main base, and he's going to be able to cut through this infrastructure. Looks like +1 armor is going to finish, but it's hard to actually... It's really hard for him to commit to fighting this army full of High Templar and Archons with all of his units so low in the red after shields, whereas his whole infrastructure in his main base is being taken apart right now. Storms here are decent. The Archon's doing a lot of extra damage. He needs to just split his units, spread them out, fan them out. This is not just a left and right micro here. This needs to be a whole splitting. Now he's starting to do it a little bit more. And with a great split with a surround, I think he crushes this army. He's totally fine. Now he finally starts to do it. This is the kind of splitting. Build a concave, build a surround, now go home, defend the Zealots.
Yeah, after losing a bunch of these air units as well, he's making 6 Void Rays at a time, but this is so many Zealots, and they are upgraded. They are doing a ton of damage to all of these buildings in here.
Yeah, he's just going to fight the army in the middle of the map instead. Zest is really playing this out pretty smartly. I feel like Sora has obviously gotten a great plan, but the in-game execution against what Zest has been able to build is pretty cool. I really like the way that this map works. We said this from the beginning, just how this map is all about weird situations and how you can figure them out. And Zest is starting to figure this out decently well. He's going to lose this base again for, I'd say, probably the 5th time. He'll lose this one as well, and some probes on the ground here. Going to be taken out for sure.
Yep. The one thing I fear for Zest is that he has no gas. Like, he's barely getting any gas. You can see the production tab right now. He's barely building anything. And these air units are going to be much better at spreading out and killing a ton of these buildings. And it looks like that's what Sora wants to go for. He's making so many cannons over here at this base. That's not going to be penetrated anytime soon.
Yeah, it may be a checkmate situation for Zest here. Let me read out the units to you guys, because I know the unit tab's not up right now. There are 20 Zealots, 14 Stalkers, 1 Warp Prism, and 4 High Templar, versus 2 Observers, 4 Tempests, 2 Carriers, 17 Void Rays, and of course 16 Interceptors. So full Interceptor count on both carriers. He is going to break through here before the cannons are ready. He may storm the probes. Actually, I don't think he will. He's probably going to save that energy. It's more important. The probes are not really that significant here.
And now Zest is being revealed. He has no Nexi. And what is Sora doing? He's bringing back his entire army right now. He seems like he just wants to defend after this because he knows that Zest has no more income and that he can't build anything. So if he just kills the army, he wins the game.
Yeah, there's only 4 probes on the map right now for Zest. That's kind of funny, trying to snipe these High Temple like that. So he doesn't have enough minerals to build a Nexus either. Alright, good splits here on the Void Rays this time. He gets a surround, the carrier's at the back. GG. Sora playing a much better build for the map. Actually thinking about what the map is and what it means and how to use it. And this, there's no doubt in my mind, there's the happiest person right now watching this is actually the map maker. He's like, thank you. I made this map for you to try to use strategies like this and control the map, make a maze for your opponent, control him, use the high ground behind that third base, poke it with Void Rays. That's what he wanted to see, and that's what we saw.